Hi everyone. In today's session, we'll be doing about the same current electricity, but we'll be doing about the next topic of the same chapter, which is of electrical energy and the electrical power. Okay, so about this only we are going to do in our today's session. We already learned about the stuff that how the electric charges are flowing in a circuit, right? So generally when we are talking about the electric charges are going to flow in the circuit. Basically they used to start from the positive terminal and they used to move towards the negative terminal, we used to say it, right? What is the reason behind that? If you're trying to look at it, whatever the kind of circuit we are going to have, that's going to start working with the help of the battery. That is, whenever it's going to have a power supply associated with that, then only it will allow the electron flow to start. That means that from the battery already the electrons are, as you're seeing here, the already the electrons are present inside this circuit already. That is, in the wires already the electrons are already present, but if you're going to look over there, the electrons are going to be in a random motion, as we discussed with the drift velocity, how the drift velocity makes the electrons to move in a single direction, right? So when this electron wants to move in a single direction, we are in the need of a particular energy. That energy is going to be given with the help of the battery what we have over here, right? Now if you're going to look at the battery is going to have some chemical reaction which is going to happening inside it, and we know that whatever the kind of battery we have, that will be having a positive as well as a negative electrode associated with that, cathode and anode we used to call it up, right? So during that chemical reaction, what is the energy released or what is the charge moment we are going to have is nothing but always the negative will be passing to moving towards the positive, and the positive will be moving towards the negative due to the electrostatic force of attraction. That's the same thing is happening over here. So whenever a battery is connected to a circuit, the battery is going to be a source where it's having a positive as well as a negative electrode, but the electrons are negative in nature, so they will be get attract towards the positive. If they are going to get attract towards the positive, then always the charges will start flowing through the positive only. Yes, and once they are going to be going through the whole circuit and they are going to move towards the negative terminal, that means that they are going to repel by the negative terminal, which will be attracted by the positive terminal, and once again it will be started moving through that way. So in this way only the electric charges are going to flow through the circuit what we are going to have from the positive terminal to negative terminal. We could able to say it in the other way as well when we are talking about the positive terminal and the negative terminal. As you're seeing over here, the carrier charges what we are going to consider over here is going to be the electric charges, that is the electrons what we are going to have over here, am I right? So those electrons, when we are talking about it, as the positive is having the capability of attracting the electron, it will be having more electrons, and the negative is repelling the electrons, it will be having the less number of electrons associated with that. What do you mean by this term higher potential to a lower potential? If suppose if I'm considering this as a higher potential, that means that I have more number of electrons which is at that point, and when I'm using the word low potential or lower potential, that means that I have less number of electrons which is going to be present over here. So always where you have more, from there to the less part, the flow of electrons will be there or flow of energy will be there, we know it very well. Suppose for example I'm just saying this, if I want to offer 100 rupees to my friend, then basically I must be having 100 rupees associated with me, then only I'll be able to offer 100 rupees to my friend, am I right? Without having that I'll not be able to do. For example, if I'm having 500 rupees, it is very easy for me to give 100 rupees to another person. This is a similar case over here. So here it's going to have 500 electrons, means it's having a less number of electrons. So it's in the need of the electron so that it could able to transfer the electron from there to here, maybe 100 or all of them based on the time. Could you able to get this one? So this is why we are saying that always the electric potential will be having a flow from a higher potential to a lower potential. Yes. Now as I told you, or as I have shown you, what is the topic we are going to discuss now is nothing but what is the electric potential we are going to have in terms of the energy we are going to talk. That is the electrical energy we are going to talk over here, right? So to whenever we want to talk about the electrical energy or whatever the kind of energy, always we used to talk about either it's going to be the potential energy or the kinetic energy. So we must know the relation between this potential and kinetic energy first, then only we'll be able to understand this stuff. So I'm just showing you over here a ball which has been kept at a height is going to get into motion and it's going to move towards the downward. So when it is going to be at this height, what is the energy the ball is going to have is going to be of its potential energy. And for example, this potential energy is going to be 10 joules. When it's going to move towards the downward, slowly it is going to lose its energy. That is, whatever the potential energy it is going to lose, that is only going to be converted into the kinetic energy. Am I right? That means that what is the loss in this potential energy? Loss, as the potential energy is going to reduce. I'm using a negative symbol over here. So whatever the reduction in the potential energy I'm going to have, that should be the energy which is going to be converted into the form of the kinetic energy. So what is the change in kinetic energy? The object uptime will be given by the negative of the change in potential energy, or you can say it in this way as well. Whatever the energy loss we are going to have, we have learnt about it in our 11th standard portion. Energy loss whatever we are going to have, that will be converted into work done, right? So what is the energy loss you're going to have here is going to be potential energy, and because of that you're going to do a work. Then what is the work you're going to do? That should always remain positive. Change in potential energy if you're going to do, that should be the final one minus initial one. But over here if you're going to take what is the potential energy finally you're going to have, that will be less because it will be at the lower height. The height of that will be less. You will be having a lesser height. Due to that, potential energy at this point will be less, but over this point the potential energy will be high. So that whenever you are finding the final potential energy, I'll write it over here. So whenever we are writing work done is going to be given by final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Obviously you will be having a negative sign over there only, right? Yes. So to make it as positive, what we have to have? We have to have a negative in the front of it. That is what is the change in potential energy we are going to have, which will be given by the work done. And this work done is nothing but the change in kinetic energy what we have over here. So that the kinetic energy change you are going to have for any of the particle which is going to be in motion will be having a negative change in potential energy in terms of the negative only. Did you get that? Is that is clear? That's the same similar thing you're looking over here, that whenever the charge is going to move from a point A to B, that is it is going to start flowing from a positive terminal A to a negative terminal B. Whenever it starts moving from A to B, that means that we are going to have the higher potential at the point A. So the point A or the point what you're having over this side is going to be of higher potential. So from the higher potential, the charges are going to start moving towards the lower potential, which is of the point B over here, right? The similar thing we'll try to put it in terms of the derivation, which will be giving us the similar stuff what we have done for a particle over here for a charged particle now. Okay, that's what exactly we'll be dealing with the derivation now. So what I said you, the same thing you have over here. Whenever we are talking about the potential difference between the 2 points over here, the electrics in an electric circuit, that as I have shown you, if you're going to have a point A and you're going to have a point B, from point A to B when the electric charge is going to start moving, it is defined as the work done carrying the unit positive charge, which will be the potential difference. We have done it already. Okay, so we are going to consider the conductor which is of 2 points or 2 ends A and B. So this is my conductor. For example, if I'm going to consider this one as my conductor, so I'm going to have a conductor something like this, and then I'm going to have this end, starting and ending point of that is going to be A and B. Okay, in which the current I is flowing through it. So the amount of current flowing through that is going to be I. And from A to B, it's going to flow the electric potential A and B are denoted by VA and the VB. So what is the potential we are going to have at this point? That is, the higher potential is going to be VA and the potential over here is going to be VB. Since the current is flowing from A to B, obviously which should be at higher potential? A should be at a higher potential and B should be at lesser potential. Then only it could able to flow from there to here. Yes. So because of that, if you are going to subtract it, what is the answer you are going to have? That should be always greater than 0. That's what's the same thing we have, and which is going to give us the potential difference across the point B. Sorry, AB, which is going to be taken as V over here in our case, right? Now, in a time interval delta t, the amount of charges which is going to flow through it. Very simple. What is the thing we are trying to write over here is nothing but we know that I is equal to Q by T, right? Then what is the time in which what is the amount of charge is going to flow in the given time will be given by Q is equal to I into T, right? So that I into T only we are having over here. Could able to see this over here? So change in that is total amount of charge which is going to flow through that will be given by the current which is flowing through that in the given time. So in the change in time, what is the total amount of current is going to flow through it will be giving you the total amount of charge which is going to flow through it. Could you able to get this? Am I making that clear? So if you are being clear with this one, what is the next part we are going to do is nothing but the potential energy of the charge at the point A. By definition, we know the definition. To make a charge to move from one point to another point of the circuit, what is the energy we are spending? That will be taken as that, right? So that's a similar thing we are going to do now over here. Yeah. So when we are trying to do about it over here, you could able to see it, that the change in potential energy, we know the potential at different points A and the B, and we are going to substitute over here. So the change in potential energy will be represented by the letter U. The potential energy will be given by the change in potential energy will be given by final potential minus initial potential, as I told you in the previous case. So what we are going to have over here, the final potential which is Q into VB minus initial potential, what you are going to have, VA, right? Before that, why we have this Q over here? So you must be thinking we are talking about the potential, how I have written this Q into VB, right? Try to remember the potential difference again. Potential difference will be given by work done by the charge, or the work done what you are going to have over here will be given by the potential difference into charge. And what is the work done we are going to have? That is going to be given by what I said, change in potential energy of the charge. What is that? Change in potential energy of the charge. So change in potential energy will be given by what? The potential across that point into the total amount of charge. You could able to see that this is what is the total amount of charge what we have done over here, and VA minus VB is going to be the total potential across the point, which is V we have done over here. That's why we are taking that as del Q into VB minus VA. Could able to get all these things clearly? So if you get that one clearly, then you could able to see one more thing over here, that we could able to write this one VA minus VB as Q, and delta Q can be written as what? Delta Q itself. Yes. Now there is a minus sign over there. What is the reason for it? I told you already. The initial potential will be high and final potential will be low. Over here VA must be high and VB must be low. If you are going to subtract it, obviously you will be having a negative sign, as we discussed in the previous slide. So that's why we have a minus sign over there. And once again, from the same current formula, Q will be given by I is equal to Q by T, Q divided by T. Then Q is equal to, we will be having that as I into T. So that's the same thing we are writing here. Instead of the delta Q, we are writing that as my I into delta T. Obviously which must be less than 0. Less than 0 in the sense what I told you, VA will be high and VB will be low. Yeah. But generally when we are writing final minus initial, we will write, so that we have a negative sign which makes that as the less than 0. Did you get that? Then what is the next thing we are going to write? The same thing we are going to connect it with the kinetic energy over here. Okay. So if the charge moved without collision through the conductor, their kinetic energy will also change, so that the total energy is unchanged. That means that whatever the last and the potential energy we are going to have, that is going to be converted into the kinetic energy, so that the total energy will remain same. That means that the energy in electron transfer is going to be conserved. The energy will be always conserved in any kind of process we are going to have, right? So that's what's the same thing we are writing over here. Now delta K is equal to I into V into delta T. This is what the change in potential energy we did, but the formula, as I told you, the change in kinetic energy will be given by negative of the change in potential energy, and over here also we have one minus sign. When we are going to substitute that over here, then what is the answer we are going to have? Plus, right? So if the charges are moving freely through the conductor and under the action of electric field, their kinetic energy would increase as they move. Yes, whenever the electrons are free to move, the kinetic energy of them will get increased. During the collision, the energy gained by the charges is shared with the atoms. When the electrons are going to move in such a way that you will be having the positive nucleus over here. When these electrons are going to have a random movement here and there, they will get collide with the atom as well. As the atoms are bigger in size, they will be losing a part of energy or nearly most of their energy to the positive ions or the positive atoms what is at the center. Because of this, the atoms will start vibrate vigorously. This is the reason why a good conductor heats up easily when it's going to have a current flow through it. Thus, in an actual conductor, the amount of energy dissipated as heat in the conductor. That means that whenever it is going to do a work, the energy which is going to be passing through that will be dissipated, will be lost in the form of a heat. Will be lost in the form of what? Heat. So that's what we are trying to do now. Okay, so what is the work done we are going to have? That will be given by change in potential energy or change in kinetic energy. So obviously it must be given by I into V into delta T. We are writing it. And the energy dissipated per unit time is power dissipated. We know that. What do you mean by the term power? Capability of doing a work. That is, within the given time, what is the amount of work you are doing, that will be taken as power. That's a similar thing applicable here. So within the given time, how much amount of work the charges are going to do to make the appliance to work will be taken as the power. So the power will be given by work done divided by time. Yes. Now in electric circuits, the power will be written as I into V. You don't want to worry much about it. The reason for that is when we are talking about this power formula will be generally given in the electricity lesson as V into I. The reason for that is we know the basic definition of voltage, which will be work done by the charge. And we know the basic definition. From that, the formula for current is going to be amount of charge flowing through the circuit in the given time, right? So if you're going to multiply both of them, this Q and Q will get cancelled. Ultimately, it will be giving you the answer for that as work done divided by time. Obviously, it is going to give you power. Yes, and the work done is going to be of 1 joule. And that's been done within 1 second. What is the work done within 1 second is going to be 1 joule. Then that's called as 1 watt. Obviously, it has been named after the scientist who found it. Right? Could you able to get that? That's what's a similar thing. That's why we are writing the formula for the power over here like this. That is P is equal to I into V. Did you get this? Clear? Now, similar way, if you are going to write the power formula is not only this one. The reason for that is power. Now, power is equal to what we have written, V into I. Now, the power can also be written in a different format as well. The reason for that is we have something called as Ohm's law. According to the V is equal to IR, so that I can replace this value of this V over here. So what I'll be having over here, I'm using a different color to make that as clear for you. So instead of the V, what I'm writing now is going to be IR. But already I have IR. So I over there, that will be written as it is. Now this two I's multiplied together will be giving you I square R over here, right? So that the power is going to have one more formula. This is second formula. The one what we have done is going to be the first formula. Right? Now similar way, what we could able to do here, by rearranging the Ohm's law, we could able to get I is equal to V over R. So ultimately, what is the next step I'll be doing? I'll be replacing the I value over there. So P is equal to V into I. So this I value is going to be replaced by the V by R. So I'm using the same color, V into, instead of I, what we are going to write over there, which is going to be of V by R. Sorry. So it's going to be V by R. So V into V will be giving you what? V squared. So V squared divided by R is going to give you what is the power we are going to have. Did you get that? So totally there are three formulas for the power in the electrical current and electricity we are going to have. The first formula is going to be voltage into current. Voltage into current. The second formula is going to be V square I. Sorry. So what are the three formulas we are going to have? The first formula I told you. Second formula is going to be I squared R. Second formula is going to be V squared divided by R, right? And all of them are going to be power. All the power will be given with the unit of what I said, watt. But there is a unit which we will be using over here for calculating the household energy, and the power will be different, about which we will be doing in the next class with few of the problems as well associated with the power. So with that, we'll wind up our class. Hope so all of you understood this. If you have any doubts or anything else you want to clarify, please leave it in the comment box.